video we are going to learn how to represent root 2 on the number line. root 2 number line पे अब आप कैसे represent करोगे? First we are going to do in rough and then we are going to do it with all the measurements. Alright. Now to draw what is the numerical value for root 2? Numerical value for root 2 is 1.4142135624 and so on. Right. Now to draw a value like this on the number line is quite difficult. So what are we going to do? We are going to go for the other way. We'll draw a number line starting from 0, of course. Then we'll be making a right angle triangle on this number line such that the hypotenuse of this triangle represents root 2. Now, as you know, Pythagoras theorem. What is Pythagoras theorem? Pythagoras theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Right? What is Pythagoras theorem? That Pythagoras theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Right? We are using Pythagoras theorem here. That means I need hypotenuse as root 2. Right? What is the square of root 2? 2. Now I need two numbers such that their sum is 2. ऐसे दो numbers चाहिए जिनको plus करें तो हमारा आंसर क्या है 2, which is 0 plus 2, and the other combination is 1 plus 1, right? So this means 0 square of 0 is 0, then plus root 2 square, but we have to draw root 2. हमें तो already draw करना है, so such a case is not possible. ना तो हमें root 2 draw ही करना है ना इधर, तो हमें root 2 already draw करना है. How can I use this case? क्योंकि हमारे पास perpendicular अगर defined ही नहीं है तो हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. This case is not helpful to me. Next here I have is 1 square plus 1 square. Square of 1 is 1, right? So this case can be helpful to us because दोनों dimensions are very clear. So what are we going to do? We will take base as 1 unit and perpendicular also as 1 unit, and we are going to draw a right angle triangle, naming it as A, B and C, with this as 1 unit, this as BC as perpendicular, which is of 1 unit, and then join AC, which represents root 2. Next, what are we going to do? We are going to open our compass with the radius of AC and mark an arc on the number line. Now this point where you have marked represents root 2. Is that clear? Now we are going to do it with all the measurements. Let's see how. As you know, to draw root 2, we will be taking hypotenuse as root 2, right? According to the Pythagoras theorem, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square of base and the perpendicular. That means root 2 square is 2, which is equal to 1 plus 1. So the base and perpendicular would be both of 1 unit, right? Now we are going to draw root 2. Drawing the number line first. I have used the inches side of the scale to draw the number line. For root 2, the base and perpendicular are both of 1 unit each, right? Now what are we going to do? We are going to open a compass of any radius and draw 90-degree angle at point 1. How are we going to do it? We are going to make an arc of any radius from on point 1, then we are going to mark 60 degrees on the arc and then 120 degrees. As you know, 90 degree is formed by 60 degree and 120 degree arc. Now we are going to draw perpendicular of 1 inch again. Where does 1 inch lie? So it is going to go till here, right? Now I'm going to join 0 with this point. Is it okay? Now our hypotenuse has come out to be √2 with base 1 and perpendicular also with 1 units, right? What are we going to do next? We are going to take radius, open the compass with radius √2, that is the length of the hypotenuse, and draw an arc on the number line. Yeah. So this point here represents √2 because we use the radius as the length of the hypotenuse, right? So this point represents √2 on the number line. I hope it is clear to everyone. To draw √3 on the number line, now if I have to represent √3 on the number line, let's make a combination again. √3 square will be equal to 3. Now this has to be a sum of two numbers. We are not considering 0 plus 3. Let's go for 1 plus 2 is the only other option we have. That is the only other option. It can be written as what? 1 square plus 2 is the square of √2. Right? We have already drawn √2. What are we going to do? I'll tell you in the rough sketch that we have drawn for √2. What are we going to do? We are going to extend this line. Mark 90 degree here all over again. We are going to mark 90 degree. So now I have base as √2, right? I have base as √2. I'll be needing a perpendicular of 1 units, right? I'm going to extend this with 1 unit. Let's say I'm joining it at D. Then I'll be joining 0 with D, right? Again taking radius as AD, we are going to mark again an arc on the number line. Following the same procedure, now this point will represent √3. I hope it is clear. Let's do it with measurements now. To draw √3, we are going to need help of √2. What am I going to do? I am going to extend √2, the line representing √2. Then we are going to make 90 degree angle on this line. The way we did for √2, it is the same way we have constructed 90 degree. Again, we need a perpendicular of 1 inch. Since we are working with inches here, I am going to draw 1 inch from this point, a perpendicular of 1 inch. Again, then we are going to join this point here with 0, like such. Now again, this perpendicular here, this hypotenuse here represents √3 with base as √2 and perpendicular as 1. Now to represent √3 on the number line, what are we going to do? We are going to open the compass with radius as √3. As you can see, with radius as √3, then we are going to mark, using the same radius, we are going to mark an arc on the number line which represents √3. So this arc here represents √3.